The Renaissance and the rebirth of the heavens, how Europe learned to think again, and how the cosmos was reimagined in the early 15th century. Europe awakened. The streets of Florence pulsed with the confidence of new art. The courts of Rome shimmered with rediscovered philosophy, and the universities of Italy, France, and Poland hummed with debate. What stirred Europe was not a single discovery, but a transformation of thought, a revival of curiosity, imagination, and the courage to ask questions that had long been sealed beneath layers of authority. The Renaissance was not a scientific revolution. It was a revolution of the mind. Humanism swept across Europe like a tide. Scholars read ancient Greek and Roman texts not as sacred relics, but as living conversations. Artists measured perspective through geometry. Sculptors studied anatomy to restore realism to stone. Playwrights staged human emotion with boldness unseen since antiquity. Everywhere, the message was the same. The human mind could measure the world, interpret it, and reshape it. Religion, too, entered this era of reflection. Faith remained central, but authority could be examined. Philosophers questioned long-held assumptions. Dramatists exposed power through satire. Theologians argued freely within the expanding walls of universities. Knowledge was no longer something one simply inherited. It was something one engaged with, debated, and refined. This shift did not create science immediately. It created the conditions for science. As Europe's appetite for learning grew, libraries across the continent filled with newly translated works, Greek philosophical texts, mathematical treatises, and the sophisticated astronomical models preserved and refined for centuries in the Islamic world. These materials gave European scholars something they had lacked for generations: precision. They inherited refined astronomical tables, more accurate instruments, and a tradition of detailed observation that had matured in places like Cordoba, Seville, Fez, Marrakesh, Damascus, and Baghdad. Renaissance thinkers did not always acknowledge where this precision came from, but they felt its power. It allowed them to measure more clearly, to question more boldly, and to imagine a universe that could be understood mathematically. With these tools in hand, Europe became a laboratory of ideas. In the growing universities of Italy, France, and Northern Europe, students did more than memorize ancient authorities. They built quadrants, studied celestial motion, and compared observational data with the models they were taught. Instruments that had evolved over centuries, astrolabes, armillary spheres, refinements of earlier designs, became everyday tools for inquiry. The printing press accelerated everything. A rare manuscript, once seen by a handful of scholars, could now reach across countries. Tables, diagrams, and ideas spread faster than ever before. Observation became a shared language. Debate became a continent-wide conversation. The Renaissance had created a world ready to reconsider the structure of the heavens. Into this world stepped Nicolaus Copernicus. He arrived at Italian universities at the height of the Renaissance. Surrounded by rediscovered Greek texts, refined astronomical tables from Islamic scholars, and a culture that encouraged debate rather than obedience. Knowledge had ceased to be static. It was alive, something to be shaped through reason. What distinguished Copernicus was not what he inherited, but what he dared to conclude. For centuries, scholars had improved the geocentric model, patching it, correcting it, adding circles upon circles to preserve Earth's assumed centrality. But Copernicus allowed himself a question that few had ever articulated with seriousness. What if the Earth was not the center at all? What if the wandering of planets, the strange loops and pauses in their paths, were not flaws in the model, but clues pointing toward a different architecture of the cosmos? Quietly and methodically, Copernicus rearranged the universe. He placed the sun at the center, allowing Earth to spin daily and orbit annually. He restored harmony where complication had grown. He trusted mathematics over inherited cosmology. When he published De Revolutionibus, he did not present heliocentrism as rebellion, but as clarity, a simpler, more elegant universe that matched the evidence. It was a bold step, a dangerous one, but perfectly aligned with the Renaissance spirit. Authority exists to be questioned. His work shifted humanity's place in the cosmos. No longer the still center of creation Earth became a traveler among travelers. The Renaissance was a bridge between worlds, ancient and modern, inherited and imagined, local and global. It revived forgotten wisdom, embraced new precision, and recentered the human mind as an instrument capable of discovery. The heavens themselves had not changed. The planets still traced their ancient paths. The sun still rose in its patient rhythm, but human thought had transformed. Europe, for the first time in centuries, was ready to see the universe not as a fixed stage, but as a dynamic system, one that could be measured, modeled, and understood through reason. Copernicus did not end this transformation. He announced it. His sun-centered cosmos was the beginning of a new age, an age where curiosity outranked tradition, where evidence challenged dogma, and where the universe began to reveal its deepest truths to anyone bold enough to ask.